So good day everyone, together with my groupmates, we'll be reporting all about the Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. So Unit 1 is all about the pain points versus solutions. Unit 2 is all about the customer segments, while the Unit 3 is all about the value propositions. But for now, we're going to start here in the Unit 1, which is the pain points versus solutions. So I'll be reporting together with my groupmate, Miss Hinami Sora. So let's start first with the wrap-ups. Sabi dito, technology may be defined in many ways, but for simplicity's sake in relation to the subject, it is the use of scientific knowledge to give an easier solution to problems within the society or specific individual. So as we all know that technology will make our life easier. Na yung mga bagay na, like for example, when it comes to agriculture, yung mga machine na ginagamit nila ngayon is wala naman yung dati. So dati is like mano-mano, but with the help of technology is mas napapadali yung buhay ng ating farmer. But somehow nababawasan din yung work na pwedeng gawin ng mga farmer natin. So invention, it is in its purest sense, it is the creation of product, processes, or techniques which do not exist before. So invention from the word invent. So, ito yung mga bagay na nagagawang or like mga bagay na bago na nagagawa with the help of technology. So, yung mga invention na yan, it requires a lot of researches kung ano nga ba yung mga benefit nito na maaaring maitulong sa pang-araw-araw na buhay natin. So, innovation is the process of modifying invention to improve it or make it better. In short, invention and innovation are related but not identical. So, innovation, so it is the process na, di ba? So, sa invention is mga bagong bagay na nagagawa natin. So, innovation naman, siguro pwede natin sabihin na yung mga bagay na na-invento is mas na-innovate or like mas na-improve pa into a betterment of its use. So, sabi dito, invention and innovation are related. So, pwedeng meron silang same purpose pero hindi sila identical talaga. So, it is very usual that if there's a new technology, it requires also a new business that would benefit from it. The process of launching and running a new business is called entrepreneurship. When that business uses high technology to deliver services to the consumer, that is technopreneurship. So, syempre, kapag may mga nai-innovate or like nai-invento ng mga technology or like when it comes to machineries, syempre, meron siyang use, merong benefit. So, dito pumapasok yung entrepreneurship. So, sabi nga dito, diba, the process of launching and running a new business is called entrepreneurship. So, syempre, para saan nga ba nag-i-improve? Or like, para saan nga ba yung technology natin or yung mga bagong kagamitan? It is for the business, para mapatakbo ang isang business or like, para mas napadali ang process sa isang business na yon. So, when that business uses high technology to deliver services to the consumer, that is technopreneurship. So, syempre, gumagamit nga ng high technology na karamihan yung mga business na yan. So, doon pumapasok yung technopreneurship, kung saan technopreneurship really needs a lot of technology. So, yung technology na yan, syempre, as the time passes, mas nai-innovate siya or mas nai-improve. So, we can say that technology is really helpful when it comes to our entrepreneurs. So now let's go to the main topic of our Unit 1, which is the pain points versus solutions. So let us first know kung ano nga ba talaga yung sinasabi nilang customer pain points. So sabi dito, a pain point is a specific problem that prospective customers of your business are experiencing. In other words, you can think of pain points as problems, plain and simple. So, yung sinasabi dito siguro yung pain point is all about the major problems or like major issues na nararanasan ng mga customers natin. So, pwedeng existing or potential. So, it is within the business environment. So, sinasabing pain points natin is pwedeng mag-lead sa mga negative experiences ng customers. So, yun yung sinasabi natin na specific issues within the business environment na nai-influence siguro dito yung mga decision-making nila or like yung mga potential na pag-purchase nila sa mga product. So, a key component to marketing and business in general is understanding customer pain points and then delivering solutions to those pain points. However, a majority of marketers do not understand what pain points truly are and instead think that solutions are actually the pain points. So, sabi nga, ang key component daw sa marketing or like in a business is ang pag-intindi sa mga customer pain points at ang paggawa ng solution dito. So, syempre, when it comes to business, dapat kinaalam mo kung ano nga ba yung purpose mo, ano nga ba yung benefit mo sa mga customer, ano nga ba yung mga services na mabibigay mo sa kanila. So, syempre, with the help of that, mas mapapadali yung pag-identify mo kung paano ka ba makakatulong sa kanila or like paano mo nga ba maibibigay yung services na hatid ng iyong business. So, yung mga ganitong bagay kasi is that dapat when it comes or like when you're an entrepreneur, dapat alam mo yung mga ganito kasi mas nabibigay mo or mas nahatid mo yung services na kailangan nila or yung main purpose ng business mo. So, sa may illustration dito, pinapakita dito kung ano nga ba talaga yung differences ng pain points versus solution. So, siguro mas madali nga natin maiintindihan kung ano nga ba pinagkaiba ng dalawa na to when it comes to this figure. So, sabi dito, ang sabi ng isang, or like sa bubble is that I need a bandage. So, when you say na I need a bandage, sinasabi dito na it's not a pain point. So, hindi yun yung main problem mo. Kung saan, yung I need a bandage is your solution. So, ano nga ba yung problem? Or like, saan nga ba nagmula yung situation na yun? So, sabi dito, ang pain point mo is yung I need to stop my knee from bleeding. So, oo nga naman kasi kaya mo kinailangan ng isang bandage is because you have bleeding and yung bleeding na yun is your problem. So, for magamot mo yung isang sugat or like to stop your knee from bleeding is that you need a solution kung saan yung solution mo nga is kailangan mo yung bandage. Also, yung isa pa dito is that yung I need a drill. So, yung sinasabi nga niyang I need a drill is your solution. So, yung problem mo dito or yung pinaka-pain point mo is that I need to make a hole. So, when you need to make a hole, kailangan mo ng drill. So, ang problem mo dito is yung paggawa mo ng hole and your solution is that the drill. You need to find a drill. So, sabi dito, in the sketch on the previous slide, a marketer will hear someone saying that they need a bandage. So, the marketer will present them with a bandage, a great bandage. A bandage that stays on well but doesn't hurt when it's peeled off. A bandage that keeps out infection. A bandage with Olaf from Frozen on giving the wound a nice warm hug. But the bandage was just the solution, not the pain point. The actual pain point is that the person wants to stop their leg from bleeding. Understanding that as the pain point, the marketing of the solution becomes very different. So, sabi nga katulad nga ng sinasabi ko kanina, is that for you to have a very great business, dapat alam mo, ikaw as an entrepreneur, dapat alam mo yung difference between the pain point and the solution. So, syempre, kapag gumawa ka ng isang business is because you have a purpose. Dapat nag-benefit yung mga customer mo. And for you to do that, dapat alam mo kung ano nga ba yung pain point ng customer mo so that magagawa mo siya ng solution and mas makakapagbigay ka ng better services. So, additionally, sabi dito, the solution could still be a bandage, but it would be one that tightly pulls together the wound to stop the bleeding. It would be a bandage that sticks the skin even if the skin is wet with sweat. The new solution could also be medical glue that will stop the bleeding immediately. The key is that the solution should address the customer's true pain point. So, the marketing shouldn't be about the product, it should be about the alleviation of the pain point. So, gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, ikaw bilang entrepreneur is that dapat alam mo kung ano nga ba or like paano ka nga ba magbibigay ng services sa mga customer mo. So, hindi lang dapat sa product, hindi lang about sa kung gaano kaganda or yung quality ng product. Dapat nandun din yun sa kung makakapagbigay nga ba siya ng magandang or like makakapaghatid nga ba siya ng magandang service sa customer mo.
So, let us continue the discussion of Unit 1. In Innovation comes from understanding true pain points. The myth of Henry Ford saying, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses," still holds a very important lesson in it. It's not a quote about ignoring customer feedback. It's about getting to the root pain point customers have. In this quote, the pain point has nothing to do with horses or cars. The pain point is that people want to get from one place to another quickly and efficiently. But people see the only solution to the being faster horses. So, tagalogin ko lang po yung sinabi ni Henry Ford na kung tinanong ko ang mga tao kung ano ang gusto nila, sinabi nilang mas mabilis na kabayo. Ito ay nagdala ng magandang aral kay Henry Ford na kung saan lumikha siya ng mas mabilis na transportasyon or mas nakagawa siya ng ideya or nagkaroon siya ng ideya na gumawa ng mas mabilis na transportasyon, hindi lamang sa pagpapabilis ng kabayo. So, sa pagsasagawa ng mga pagbabago o bumuo ng mga bagong produkto, mahalagang unawain ang tunay na pain point o problema ng mga tao, hindi lamang ang kanilang mga pansamantalang mga hinanakit. Sa konteksto ng pahayag, ang pain point ng mga tao ay pangangailangan na makarating sa isang lugar na mabilis at maginhawa. So, nung panahong iyon, ang mga tao ay naiisip na ang tanging solusyon lamang sa problema ay ang mas mabilis na kabayo. Ngunit sa pagtingin ni Ford, mas malalim na problema na tukoy niya, ang tunay na pangangailangan ay mabilis na transportasyon. Hindi lamang ang pagpapabilis ng kabayo, kaya't naglikha siya ng mga sasakyan, isang mas mahusay at mas epektibong solusyon. So ang aral dito is, sa halip na mag-focus lamang tayo sa kung ano ang kasalukuyang iniisip ng mga tao bilang solusyon, dapat nating tuklasin ang kanilang mga tunay na pangangailangan o problema. Sa ganitong paraan, maaari tayong magbigay ng mas makabagong solusyon na mas epektibo at mas kapaki-pakinabang sa kanilang mga sitwasyon. So, next slide. Identifying pain points. Customers experience pain in many ways, but oftentimes they don't know how to tell you what that pain truly is. So, they ask for a solution. So, ang sinasabi dito is, mas maganda na alam natin yung hinanaing ng mga customer. Sa pamamagitan ng kanilang mga hinanaing is, makakapagbigay tayo ng mas epektibong solusyon. Ang mga customer ay madalas na hindi sigurado kung ano ang kanilang problema, kaya humihingi sila ng tiyak na produkto o serbisyo. So, one way to get at customer pain points is to ask open-ended questions and follow up. In the classic example from Theodore Levitt in the sketch above, if someone walks into hardware store looking for a 1/4 drill bit, their pain point isn't that they need a 1/4 bit. Their pain point is that they need a 1/4 hole. Don't ask them what kind of features they want in a drill bit. Ask them what they want drill bit for. Ask the expert, you'll then know what the prescribe to them. So, halimbawa na lang daw yung sinabi ni Theodore Levitt na kung saan may pumuntang isang customer sa hardware na nagtatanong tungkol sa 1/4 drill bit. Pero hindi naman talaga ito yung kanyang hinahanap o pangangailangan. Ang kanyang pangangailangan talaga or bibilin talaga is yung 1/4 hole. So, sa pag-unawa, ang layunin ng kanilang hinihingi ay nagbibigay sa atin ng pagkakataon na kung saan mag-alok tayo ng mas angkop o mas epektibong solusyon base sa kanilang mga pangangailangan. So sa halip na tanungin natin ang detalye tungkol sa mga kanilang pangangailangan na produkto, ay itanong kung para saan nila ito gagamitin. Sa ganitong paraan, makakilala ng mga tunay nilang pangangailangan at makapagbibigay ka ng mas epektibong solusyon at rekomendasyon na natutugon sa kanilang pangunahing problema. So, next slide is, if you understand the underlying pain point your customers have, your approach to innovation completely changes. The way you speak to your audience changes. You don't hype a solution, but rather call out the solution and alleviates the pain point. So, sabi dito is kapag alam natin yung problema or pangangailangan ng mga customers, is mas makakapagbigay tayo ng rekomendasyon or mas epektibong solusyon para sa kanilang mga pangangailangan. So, sabi nga dito is, sa pagnenegosyo is kailangan natin ng magkalap ng mga feedback. So, tanggap lang tayo ng feedback. Mapa-negative man to or positive. So, sabi nga, di ba, customers is always right. So, kailangan, kapag ka nakarinig tayo ng negatibong feedback sa ating negosyo is, hindi tayo magalit or ano man. Dapat dito tayo mas mag-i-improve or mas i-improve pa natin yung ating mga produkto at ating mga serbisyo. So, kailangan din po natin kapag tayo ay may negosyo ay magkaroon tayo ng trust sa ating mga customer. Kasi, sila lang din naman yung nagpapalago sa ating negosyo. So, kapag hindi tayo marunong tumanggap ng negatibong feedback sa nagaling sa ating mga customer is kung tayo man ay walang trust sa ating mga customer, sila din ay mawawalan ng trust o tiwala sa ating mga produkto at serbisyo. Yun lang po, and next proceed po tayo sa Unit 2.
Unit 2, Customer Segments. First, we differentiate the customers and end users. Customer is the person who pays the price and purchases the good or service of a certain producer or a business. Therefore, the customer is not essentially the end users as well. The customer may pay the price and buy the products and give them to a different person who becomes the end user. End user is the person who consumes or uses the goods or the service. The customer can be the end user as well, however, not in all cases. Nonetheless, it is the end user who will know the genuine quality and the nature of the product or a service, since it is the end who consumes it. Here is the example of product services, the customer and end users. Diaper, ventilator, business software, engagement ring, car, dog food. For the customer, parents, hospital, company, boy, owner, and dog owner. End users, babies, patients, employee, girl, owner, and the dog. What is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is a party that has an interest in a company and can either affect or be affected by the business. There are two types of stakeholders: internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. The examples of internal stakeholders are the employee, manager, owners. And for the external, suppliers, society, government, creditors, shareholders. Next, influencer. What is an influencer? An influencer is someone who has the power to affect the purchasing decision of others because of their authority, knowledge, position, or relationship with their audience. What is a customer segment? Customer segments are the different groups of people or organization your enterprise aims to reach and serve. These include the user who might not generate revenues but which are necessary for the business model to work. This is the type of customer segments: mass market, niche, segmented, diversified, and multi-sided. First, what is mass market? Products and services which target the mass market segment have a broad appeal and often cover the overall population. The mass market approach doesn't rely on any specific segmentation and instead aims to be efficient by treating everyone in the same. Niche market refers to a specific customer segment with highly defined characteristics. This segment requires a highly tailored products, custom-made to suit their needs. Therefore, the value proposition, channels, and customer relationship are tightly defined by the preferences of this particular customer segment. Next is segmented. Some business models distinguish between the market segments with slightly different needs and problems. The retail arm of a bank like Credit Suisse, for example, may distinguish between a large group of customers, each possessing assets of up to $100, and a smaller group of affluent clients, each of whose net worth exceeds of $500. Both segments have similar but varying needs and problems. Next is diversified. A business that decides to take a diversified approach to customer segmentation. We select a wide range of customer groups with very different needs. For example is the Amazon diversifying into cloud services based on its utilizing its core. Next is multi-sided platforms or multi-sided market. Some organization needs to attract two or more interdependent customer segments belonging to two or more totally different sides in order to succeed. A credit card company, for example, needs a large base of credit card holders and a large base of merchants who accept those credit cards. Similarly, an enterprise offering a free newspaper needs a large reader base to attract audience.
Market segments. What is market segmentation? Market segmentation is the process of dividing target customer segments into smaller, more precise clusters. It is used to categorize customer segments and audiences into groups that are similar characteristics. And we have 4 types of market segments. The first one is demographic segmentation. Demographic segmentation is one of the most popular and commonly used types of market segmentation. It refers to statistical data about a group of people, and the examples are age, gender, annual income, source of income, occupation, education, and last one is ethnicity. Psychographic segmentation. Psychographic segmentation categorizes audiences and customers by factors that related to their personalities and characteristics. And the examples are personality, values, attitudes, interests, lifestyle, motivations, and priorities. Behavioral segmentation. While demographic and psychographic segmentation focus on who a customer is, while behavioral segmentation focuses on how the customer acts on product. Yung demographic and psychographic kasi, nakapokus lang sila sa customer. And ito namang behavioral segmentation, sila ay nakapokus sa kung paano mag-act ng yung customer sa product na nakikita nila. And the example is purchasing habits, spending habits, and brand interactions. Geographic segmentation. Geographic segmentation is the simplest type of market segmentation. It categorizes customers based on geographic location. And here's the example. Number 1 is country, province, city, barangay, street, radius around a certain location, climate, and the last one is urban or rural. It's important for the customers to be informed first of the benefits they would get upon buying a product or services from an enterprises. Or no need for that since every buyer obviously know the purpose of what they are buying. Sinasabi dito kung mahalaga daw ba na inform muna tayo sa benefits ng binibili natin or hindi na. Kasi obviously naman daw na alam naman ng bawat bumibili kung ano yung purpose ng binibili nila na products. Para sa akin, mas mahalaga pa rin yung alam natin na alam yung benefits ng bibili natin para mas aware tayo na yung products na ito ay ganito, ganyan. And alam mo yun, para yung binibili natin, alam natin kung para saan talaga at para kung saan sa atin makakatulong or kung makakatulong ba talaga sa atin, di ba? A man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops the clock to save time. Sinabi ito ni Henry Ford. Sinasabi dito siguro ni Henry Ford na ang mga taong nagbi-business na tumigil sa pag-advertise para kumita ng pera or tinipid yung business nila para sa advertise para makatipid sila, ganon. Para daw silang pinatigil nila yung clock para makasave ng time. Ganon din sa business siguro. Pagka tinipid mo yung business mo, titiparin ka rin ng customer or yung kita mo, titiparin ka rin, ganon. Kaya yun ang sinabi ni Henry Ford. Doing a business without advertising is like winking a girl in the dark. You know that what you are doing but nobody else does. Dito sinasabi naman dito na pagka nag-business ka nang walang advertising, parang nanliligaw nililigaw ka ng babae na sa dilim, ganon. Alam mo yung ginagawa mo pero walang ibang gumagawa. Parang ganon lang din yan. Kumbaga ba, sa business, yung ibang business nag-advertise sila, gumagastos sila sa advertise para makilala o makita, ganon. Unlike sa kunyari, hindi ka gumawa ng advertise sa business mo, wala rin mangyayari, walang makakakita. Hindi rin papatok, ganon. Baka in worst case, baka malugi ka pa, di ba? Business has only 2 functions, marketing and innovation by Milan Kundera. Sinasabi dito ni Milan Kundera na ang business daw ay merong 2 function lang, ang marketing at innovation. Siyempre dito sa may marketing, kung paano mo ipapakalat or i-advertise yung magiging business mo, di ba? Tapos dito naman sa innovation, siyempre kung paano mo i-approve yung yung business mo or paano mo palalakihin or pagagandahin pa, di ba? Yun lang. Doon lang daw nakapaloob ang pagbibusiness, sabi ni Milan Kundera. The internet is becoming the town square for the global village of tomorrow. Bill Gates. Sinasabi dito ni Bill Gates siguro na yung internet daw ngayon parang mas mapapabilis tayo makapag-advertise siguro or makakatulong sa atin sa business. Kumbaga ba yung internet daw ay parang malawak na na makakatulong sa atin sa pagbi-business, ganun. Make it simple, make it memorable, make it inviting to look at, make it fun to read. Sinasabi dito ni Leo Burnett na ayun lang, gawing simple at syempre dapat yung tatatak, memorable eh. Kailangan tatatak sa bawat isa or maalala kahit gaano katagal na ganun. Or make it inviting to look at, syempre bawat, kumbaga ba, parang pag tinignan pa lang maakit na nila or gusto na lang i-try, ganun. Yung mapapaisip sila na ano kaya yung magiging, interesado ba? Or make it fun. Syempre, kailangan masaya naman, hindi yung puro seryoso lagi, di ba? Kailangan mo rin maging masaya maminsan-minsan.
And now, let's proceed to Unit 3, that is all about the value proposition. First, let us define what is value proposition. A value proposition is a clear statement that explains why would someone choose your product or service. It answers the question, what makes this special or different? Essentially, it highlights the benefits and the value that your offering provides to the customer. For example, if you're selling a new kind of phone, your value proposition might be, this phone lasts 3 days on a single charge, so you don't have to worry about running out of battery. It's about showing what makes your offering worth the customer's time and money. A value proposition can be presented as a business or marketing statement that a company uses to summarize why a consumer should buy a product or use a service. Next is, in definition of layman's term, the value proposition pertains to the benefits that customers would get upon buying a product as promised by the company who owns it. It actually is a statement which serves as a window for the customers to see clearly what a certain brand could offer and its advantages over other competitors. And for it to be clearly seen by customers, this is where advertisement comes into play. Next, let's proceed to historical background of value proposition. The phrase value proposition, or VP, is credited to Michael Lanning and Edward Michaels, who first used the term in a 1988 staff paper for the consulting firm McKinsey & Corporate. In the paper, which was entitled A Business is a Value Delivery System, the authors define value proposition as a clear, simple statement of the benefits, both tangible and intangible, that the company will provide along with the approximate price it will charge each customer segment for those benefits.
There are two kinds of benefits, tangible and intangible. A tangible benefits are physical benefits that can be seen, touched, and felt, and be measured in financial terms. Intangible benefits is a non-monetary benefits that cannot be seen or touched. These benefits include customer satisfaction. Here are the examples of tangible and intangible benefits. Tangible benefits increase revenue, resource cost savings, hardware cost savings, software cost savings, productivity gain, and process improvements. Intangible benefits enhance user experience, increase customer satisfaction, increase compliance, and brand equity.